actually. I'm sorry. I didn't grab one for myself. Thank you. I can't decide. I want to stand. Okay, so once everybody has one, once you have one, you can obviously put your name on it, and then there's a spot for a date and your book title of the book you're reading today. So what this is a reading speed tracker. The way I kind of think about it is it's like a Fitbit for your reading speed. So we all love to look at our phones and say, how many steps did I take today? This is kind of going to help you figure out how many words you can read in a certain amount of time, and then you can kind of figure out about how fast you read when you read. And since that changes, there's lots of little spots so you can check in and see, oh, am I reading faster in 2 months? Or am I reading, is the book a little harder so I'm reading a little slower, or I'm reading at the same speed? So this is going to kind of help you figure out how fast you read today, really. So just at this point in time, with the book you're reading, how fast are you reading? So fill in that date and that book title, and then there's 4 things that we're going to figure out once we are there. Is everyone?
Today's the 13th.
Yes, today's the 13th. We're almost there with filling in that information. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to open your book. So your book needs to be open because we're going to do some reading. And you're going to go to whatever line on your page that you're currently on, and you're going to put a dot next to it. So I'm right down here, and I'm putting a little dot next to it. And then I'm going to put a timer on for 1 minute, and you're going to read as many lines as you can for comprehension too. So don't just like stress out and freak out and read as much as you can and you have no idea what's going on, because comprehension is one of the things on this. There's average words per line, number of lines, estimated words per minute, and comprehension. So don't just read to try to get as many lines in as you can. Read to understand what you're reading too. So put a little dot. Okay. What we're going to do is you go to your first little dot, and you're going to start on the very first line that you have that runs the whole page. So no little spaces. So it's word all the way to word, and we're going to go for this first. We're going to try to figure out average words per line. So you count all of the words, however many words there are, on your line that runs the entire page. And I would say count 3 or 4 lines, and then you're going to average each line. So let's say my top line has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 words. That's my first one. I'm going to put a little 14 so I remember. Then you count another one. 1, 2, 3. That one has 15. And do 3 or 4 lines. And then if you have 14, 15, then one line has 18, you average those out, and that's like 15, something like that, 16, 15, 16. I'm not a math person. And that's your average words per line. And then you can fill in that box. So it's 9:13. And this is okay. Just look up when you're done so I know you're done. Okay, so now You start at your first dot, and you look at your second dot, and you're gonna count how many lines of words there are. So, okay, once you have that done, we're going to figure out the estimated words per minute, and to do that, you multiply those first two numbers we got. So, average words per line by number of lines. I need a calculator. Okay, 15 times 31. Thank you. Okay, so that's your estimated words per minute. And then that other thing we talked about, reading not just for speed, but for your understanding, how well you actually know what happened in those lines. Rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm guessing 1 is you didn't understand it, 10 is totally got it, totally know what's going on. And then just put that in that last box. And then you have a way to track how fast you're reading for this book on this day. And when you fill it in again, when are they filling it in again?
Probably in 2 weeks.
So when you fill it in again in 2 weeks, you can say, oh, I'm reading a different book, but this book is harder, so it's taking me a little longer to actually read it and understand it. And you say, that's why this is going on. Or you say, I haven't read a book in 2 years because school is hard and annoying and I have more homework and I don't get to read for fun. But I've been reading more now, and so I'm reading a little faster. And so that's just a way to know that and figure that out. Thank you. I'm gonna turn off my video now. Joy. So, whenever you have a quotation in a paper that is an analysis of words or writing, and you wanna put a quotation in, you have to think of it like the filling of a sandwich. So your quotation is the meat, or your quotation is the peanut butter and jelly, or your quotation is the burger. You have to have a top bun and a bottom bun. So you have to introduce it nicely, and you have to explain it when it's over. So in this case, you just threw so many fat snaggletooth fish ganged in and lurching for food that lightweight tourists could have crossed the pond on their backs, which is the image that we want and the quotation that we talked about, but we need a little he says. You did a good job introducing that first part. It's just putting the two little words in front of it first.
They're gonna do that for each one.
Yes. So if you just threw them in for the rest of the paper, well, as we go through it, we can figure that out.
Okay.
Carp love any kind of food that is offered freely. I think you did a decent job of explaining this. I need to read through it again. This stresses me out when it's videoing me, but yeah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does the explaining,
The peanut butter.
introducing and then explaining, think of it like PB&J? Cool.
Definitely.